Welcome back, everyone. This is the State of the Nation. Now, the current IMF deal we are in is questionable on many levels. Week after week, we keep informing you as to what areas this might pan out negatively. This is mainly because of the wealth of information we have about past IMF programs in Sri Lanka that led to severe hardships for the middle income class category of our country. Now, this time, the government, which came to power by promising the people that they will not fall for institutions like the IMF, is now singing praises and are determined to implement those harsh conditions despite how bad it is for you and me. This year, despite many hopes that things might turn around, the Asian Development Bank a couple of weeks back said that our economy would contract by 3% in 2023. However, there's good news. Things might turn around in 2024, that is according to the Asian Development Bank. Let's get more insight into this IMF deal. Joining me now is Professor at the California Institute of Integral Studies, Professor Asoka Bandarage. Professor, thank you very much for joining me. In your opinion, what does the review of the IMF deal looks like for the Sri Lankan economy? What does the agreement consist of, and how do you believe it will affect Sri Lanka?
Well, first of all, thanks for inviting me to be on your show. Really appreciate it. The deal is really about debt sustainability. That is for Sri Lanka to pay back what it owes to its creditors. And that is mostly international sovereign bondholders who are the largest creditors to Sri Lanka. And in order to meet this objective, there's an austerity program that has been put in place to increase revenue of the state through increased taxes, increased tariffs, like, for example, the electricity tariff, and cutbacks on social services. Now, throughout the report, there are references to improving the lives of the poor and the vulnerable and expanding the social security net. But when you actually look at the figures, you see that there is no intention of increasing the outlays for social security, which is now at 0.6% of GDP, and over the course of the 4 years, there is no indication that's going to be increased, which means that there are going to be large segments of people who fall beneath the poverty line, and they're not being included, and also the outlays for them, the cash transfers, are not going to be increased. So this is going to create a situation of poverty, widening economic inequality, resistance and repression, as we've already seen. Other aspects of the program include privatization of state-owned enterprises, even ones which are profit-making. Then there's also the Sri Lanka monetary bill that's going to be passed, which will make the central bank more autonomous and independent, which raises questions about democracy and sovereignty. And very quickly, there's also what is known as the IMF governance diagnostic exercise, which is where Sri Lanka would be included for the first time in the Asia Pacific. And this is supposedly to curtail corruption, but we have to take this with a grain of salt, given the past experiences of IMF monitoring and surveillance, including on the 27th of February 2015, when the biggest financial fraud in the country took place under the watchful eyes of the IMF, when the IMF mission was actually in Sri Lanka.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. We have to leave it at that. My sincere thanks to the professor. Professor at the California Institute of Integral Studies, Professor Asoka Bandarage. A short break now. Back in a moment.